because that was too long.
Yeah.
It's their old phone number before the area code switched.
Oh, all right.
So, pound.
You lost me a pound.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, sorry.
0000, that I can remember.
Cable 2. All calibrations will be lost. Pound to continue. And baseline warmer should be about 32 is what you want. It basically has a graph between 0 and 64. A straight line is what you want to see.
Okay.
Short will go down. A break will go up. This is the end of the cable. It looks like a break. And a leak or moisture will go down and then up.
Okay.
So,
So
baseline.
in other words, this is the whole length of the cable. So
Right.
it's actually locating where the bad spot is in your cable. This is just a sample screen, but
Right.
if you plug your...
Now again,
That's not the real one?
actually, that's not the real one.
and again, it's a lot of times you really don't know what's it'll tell you what's a leak. I look at the graphs. I've been doing this for years, so I can kind of figure out what it is. But usually, I send it to PermAlert, and he tells me exactly what's going on.
Okay.
Cable 2 connected to ZBA. They have like Xena barrier. It's that would be if you have a lake out the field. You worry about lightning strikes to protect the panel.
Yep.
So we don't have one of those. Okay, enter first section of cable. It's that jumper cable. It needs at least 50 feet to get to the first one, just because the panel has trouble seeing the first 50 feet and the last 30 feet. So put another that black jumper cable in the end.
Just to keep you up to date, the leak sensor cable goes up to where those buckets are there,
Yeah.
and it stops, and then it's a coax that goes from here to there. So
Okay.
when he's measuring that first piece, it's the coax.
Okay.
So it's I know it's the first type of cable is 3 jumper cables. So I hit 3 pounds, and then I hit 0 pound for auto end, and it'll tell me how long the first cable is. So if it says leak detected in a certain amount of feet, it's footage of cable, not footage of pipe.
Okay.
So it starts at, it'll probably around 60 feet. And every time there's a connector, I know exactly the footage there. So you kind of measure from the connectors. So the connector's there, you'd go down 5 feet and then over, type of thing like
Okay.
that. 59, so I want to accept that. Okay, then go over and plug that cable in.
So in other words, what's under our feet here is 59 feet of cable. Yep. It's right here. So now, here's the leak sensor cable.
And when I set it up, I set up one section of cable at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna push it down.
This one goes to the lab building, and it's cut in half.
Yeah, this will go right to where the fire hydrant is where the next connectors are.
Both of these runs are going to be the ones running over to the
Nope.
lab building?
The other run goes from where Tim is there to that
one
there.
over.
It's almost nothing. Okay. But it's getting ready for your future. Got it.
Okay.
Now it's saying
Yep.
enter section 2 cable type. I know if I can cycle through, but it's AGW gold, which is 13 AGW gold, so it's 13 pounds, and then hit 0 pound to auto end. And it'll tell me the footage of cable to that.
So over by the
Over
fire
there.
hydrant. It's supposedly 205 feet, but we'll see. So now it should be 265. Oh no, we're cut in half. Oh no, we're not cut in half, are we? That's a whole 205 feet.
284.
So we had 59 plus supposedly 205, but we never measured that.
But if there's water in there, it might look longer
Oh.
for the cable. So,
Okay.
all right, so I'll accept that. And then I go connect the next section,
Okay.
right at the thing.
I've forgotten everything, so.
There's a little thumb drive in there. If you put a thumb drive in,
Yeah.
leave it there for 10 minutes, take the file, email it to PermAlert, and it's like a data logger. It'll tell you everything, where it got wet, if it's growing, if it's shrinking, it's moving.
Sure.
Okay, so this is 13 pounds, and then 0. Good. All right, pounds.
So now we're measuring.
This
that
will go
next
all the way to
section.
the building.
Yep, so well, this should give us the grand total of everything from here all the way out.
To the building, but we're gonna, at the end of the building, we're gonna have 30 feet of the black cable just rolls up as
Oh,
like a
okay.
dummy cable,
Okay.
just because I had trouble seeing the last few feet of the cable.
Okay.
551. Accept that. And then plug in that jumper cable.
Oh, okay.
Into section 3, so that would be the 3 pounds. 3 pound, 0. Oh, wait for it to plug it in.
How long a run can we do?
This panel will do like 5,000 feet, give or take. You usually go more, but if it's like normal thing, it's 5,000 feet.
I'm
then
just
if you-
curious if we make it all the way down to wastewater, if we ended up having to put in, you know, multiple systems to make it down there or whatnot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, 5,000 feet should get us down there.
Now, if you took that and you want to add to the end of it, there is a way to do that without starting over again.
Okay. I think that's what I'm thinking that's what their assumption is we would be able to go from here where it ties in, and if this system works, then you would take and redo that whole run down to wastewater. So it runs down to the corner of the road there and all the
Would
way
it
to
be
the front gate.
continue from this pipe?
That would be my thought.
Okay.
I guess that's up to
Because you
the
still have
engineering.
2 more. You could have 2 more cables on this panel.
Right. That would be my thought. Would be if we
Okay.
can run 5,000 feet, we continue on with that. But, okay.
Okay.
So now we're just detecting that last 30-foot roll of
Yeah, I think it's a little
cable
longer
we
than
got
30.
there.
$587. I want to accept that. And then I want to end it, so I hit 0. I want to type a cable. 0 pound. It ends. It asks me sensitivity is medium, which is the default. I accept that. It does a reference, and then it'll stop monitoring.
How many feet did we have
And see if
altogether?
it says monitoring cable 2, it'll say map 1. It doesn't. When I just set it up, it makes a map of that. If it changes or gets worse, you'll have to acknowledge it, but it'll create a new map and start comparing it to that. So say something spilled and you got to spill, you know it's there, but you're not worried about it right now. You want it to keep monitoring, you acknowledge it,
Okay.
you acknowledge the leak, put in the password, and it'll say, okay, now we're going with map 2.
Okay.
But so it's looking for more changes. And then it'll keep going to, I think,
Ah, okay.
right, in the map, and then as it dries, it'll go to the lower map, whatever the map is. Right, let me
It
open
could be
this up.
important because if you don't have perfect pitch all the way, then you're going to get settling in the bottom. So you may have a
Right.
leak at a higher spot. So you're
Right.
going to get your leak there, then you're going to remap it because then your leak is going to show.
Well, right. You'd have
50
like
feet
somewhere
away.
else down there. Yeah.
So you don't want to be digging.
And I think it's
The
at
wrong spot.
551 overall.
Okay, so there's relays. You have the 4 connections for cables.
Yep.
There's a relay for each cable. There's a common relay for the panel, for the whole panel. And then there's what's called a fault relay. The only difference, the fault relay is normally energized, so it'll change states with loss of power. There's a little thumb drive. If you have a regular formatted FAT32 thumb drive, put it in there. The lights blink like 5-10 minutes. Take it out. If you send that file to Permalert, it's a data logger.
Okay.
There's some little jumpers, like AC/DC on off, but this is your vane switches here.
All right.
Okay, the menus, they're all right here. Normally when you first turn it on, if there's power loss and it turns on, there's like a 5-minute delay or something, it'll stop monitoring, or like a 2-minute delay, it'll just stop monitoring. So you don't have to actually tell it to monitor. But if you just shut it off, turn it on, you want it to stop monitoring, hit 1 pound. Or you go into the menus.
Tell everybody to wait. It's easier.
Yeah. History of events. So if I go 2 pounds, it tells me all from the newest, the most recent thing that happened, all the way back. So reference map stored, and level. I put security password, power loss, all that.
587.
587.
Okay. Well, that was after we added.
Oh, the
that
30-foot
would have been
jumper at
after
the
we
end.
added the 30-foot
Yep.
jumper at the end.
Yeah, that makes sense.
okay.
Probably like a 35 foot jumper.
Verify cable. This is usually in the older versions. Once you set up the cable, then you verified it. The only time you would verify a cable now is if something happened, like there was leaks and it never got. Say this is set up wet, and you never really get back to the one you could verify cable. It makes a new map one,
Oh,
but it's
after everything dried out, we can
Right.
redo it. Okay.
display setup. If I go 5 pounds, it just so cable 2, it just tells me each section. Section 1, type 3, length 59. So far total. Next section, type 13, 225, total 284. And the counts is how it reads it. Type 3, that was the end.
Okay.
So then, what was that? That was 5. 6, set clock. That's pretty obvious.
Yep.
7, password entry. There are certain things like if I took this cable, I went 5, like I did the 5 and it shows me the setup of the cable.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to add a section to that, if I put the password in first and then I go to that, when I get to the last section, I hit pound and then it lets me add sections to that.
Okay.
So it's just, sometimes you want to it makes it easier to put the password in first to do certain things.
Well,
But
that's
this is where you
relevant
would
because more than likely we will be adding on to where Tim is.
Well,
They're
right,
going
that's what I was
out,
just saying.
so-
Right.
At some point in time, we'll be going
Yep.
that way, but not worried about that at this point in time. But okay.
Right.
And that's all. That password is the one that you said was written in here.
Yeah, I think it's on page 22 or 20. It's like in the 20s. And you can set up different levels of passwords. So some people can go in and change the clock. You don't want some people, different access.
Sure.
8 pounds. In special functions, you need 8966 2190. Relay states normal. You can change the relays. Next one, select language. That's obvious. Special options. Do you remember what that was? Yeah, that was. That's really nothing.
Stuff you don't have.
Yeah, stuff you don't have. And then baud rates. You can actually have one computer monitor, 254 different panels. Identification, what you call the panel, phone number, display cable data. So here's a graph. If I go 7 pounds and I want to do cable 2, say it would tell me the starting distance. So I know the first 50 feet is that jumper cable, so I hit 50. Now, that's that line. The bottom line is this line, this scale. The top line is the footage. So if I got all 31s and 30s, if I have 32 the whole way plus or minus 5, it's considered a dry system.
Okay.
So if I keep going, all 32s, that was good. 32s, well,
Whoa, you did good on this one.
There's
32.
135 so far, but that was always back there.
yeah, that could be a connector too.
Okay.
It's and then at the end it was 5 something. It was 582.
551 up into the jumper was up to 580 something. Right?
So yeah, I see how it.
Yeah, 551 was where.
It's like, yeah, with the jumper, and then it shoots up to 63. That's the end of the cable.
That's it.
So this one's dry.
Awesome.
That little one has water at that end.
Okay.
So that will have to be dried. If you don't dry it, what will happen is as it evaporates and condenses, you'll get phantom leaks. It'll just, the water moves around and changes things.
Ahern knows about that.
Yeah, Brian said they were talking about just pushing nitrogen through from the lab building, blowing it out, and seeing to get it to dry. Yep.
All right, so. Okay, now it's monitoring cable. Do you have any questions about it?
Alarm-wise, it only comes beeping over here. We didn't tie it into
No,
anything
well,
else.
those
You
blue
have
wires that he
relays.
showed you, those are tied to Zetron.
Those are
but
tied
that
to-
Zetron panel hasn't been activated yet.
Okay,
It's
so
going to be.
its own Zetron then,
Yep.
a whole
One
brand
right
new
in
one.
here in IOPH.
And these are just little ferrite blocks that kind of cut down on the noise, electrical noise.
Okay.
Right now, we were getting a closed circuit here because we landed it on normally open. But what he's saying is that relay is always pulled in
Right.
under normal conditions, so we should switch that.
We should switch
Because
that.
otherwise the Zetron will always be good.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
have
So
to-
this will be its own equipment failure alarm then.
Yeah, you'll have to make an announcement on there or whatever.
Deal something. Okay.
Yeah, it'll. Now,
Alright.
the alarm, they changed the software recently. I don't really know which version this is. Some of them, the alarm will sound of the leak. Some of it, just the light turns red. Some people don't like the alarm. It's very loud. It's like 80 decibels. And people end up cutting the wires, so they have an option to turn it on or off when it alarms. But usually you'll get a red light. It'll show an alarm.
Okay.
It'll take, it's either, what's it show? It'll show leak, drying, short, break, probe active, probe inactive.
Okay.
So there's not a lot to it. And if you, like, as you dry that, if you put air to that to get the water out of that, it'll say drying detected at X number of feet.
Okay. All right. No, that's fine. I was just curious how it got tied in, because inevitably it'll be some weekend, some poor guy will be on call.
Yeah.
No idea what the heck this is, but oh, there's something beeping out here.
But you acknowledge this, but the alarm contact doesn't open then, right? Even though you acknowledge this alarm, it stays in alarm on the relays?
If there is an alarm, when I test it, it'll, it's like you dip it in water, it'll alarm, you got the red light, you just kind of shake the cable off, I mean, just on your leg,
Right.
and it dries right up.
But what I'm saying is if there is an actual leak in the pipe and that thing has water on it, but they don't have time to address it on a night shift
Yeah,
crew or
if
whatever
you
they hit.
if you acknowledge
Yeah,
it,
you just
Yeah.
so it says here you just hit pound and it'll silence it for
But
the
the
time
Zetron's
being.
going to keep going is what I'm thinking. Because your alarm contacts will stay closed?
Right.
yeah, but if you acknowledge it, it'll say acknowledge alarms,
Yeah,
and you'll have to punch in the password.
yeah.
So you can acknowledge it. So they don't want anyone just to shut it off and
No.
make it go away.
This will go silent, right?
Right.
But what about those dry contacts, those relays?
If you acknowledge it,
Yeah,
it will
those-
reset it.
It will. Oh, okay,
But it'll
all right.
say using map 2 or map 3.
Okay, all right. Okay. And I'm just trying to look ahead at, like you
Yeah.
said, nuisance.
Right. Right.
In
Exactly.
the middle of the night, so you don't get called at 2 in the morning saying,
All right. I mean, congratulations. At 2 in the morning, there was water that was in the inside
Yeah.
of the double wall pipe. That's fine, but I'm not grabbing a shovel right now.
yeah, don't
so,
wake me up for it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, double containment, according to the EPA standard, the secondary pipe should be able to hold the liquid 30 days.
Oh.
That's what's required.
All right.
So that's why they put thinner wall pipe on the outside. It's not, the outer pipe usually isn't as strong, or sometimes it's different materials.
Yeah.
Deep materials.
I get that purpose. So okay. All right. I can take this along
Yep.
then and stick this in our equipment files for it. You guys need anything with this?
No, other than we should do that Zetron thing. I don't know if there. You want to set that up with us, or is that something we're expected to make put the recorded announcement on? Zetron is a recorded announcement that comes over their PA system.
Oh,
So this thing is going to go off into alarm. Their Zetron is going to hear that alarm, and it's going to be a pre-recorded message that says,
That's something that whose project is it? Shay?
yes.
Shay? One of them? Shay's gonna have to have that set up with JSM to do all of the Zetron stuff there. Yeah, I wouldn't think that you would have anything to do
No,
with it.
No,
You're-
not him.
once we're past the
I
contact
can't
part,
see who
there's
you're
nothing
looking
else
at with
there.
those
Oh,
glasses.
sorry. Yeah, a little shift.
I don't know if you're looking at me or him.
No, that would be part of Shay's problem then to get
Are you ready if I
JSM.
like it per minute to put the big shrink tube on?
Yeah.